Hello, this is the Timeless Tarot, and in today's reading we're going to be looking at the feminine energies for the month ahead. I've put out a spread, so let's go straight to the bottom of the deck, and we have, deck is splitting. We've got the Five of Cups and the Hanged Man. Hanged Man is a card of gaining wisdom. The Five of Cups is feeling like you haven't really got what you want, or feeling like you've lost your partner, I suppose, to be really specific. So those two energies, I think it says to me that you're trying to feel hopeful that things are going to work out, but actually you're feeling a bit despondent. And I say secretly because this feels to me like, like you're not, other people don't know probably that you're feeling quite as despondent as you are, because you're putting a brave face on it and you're trying to gain wisdom all the while that you're not in partnership, is what it feels like. This feels quite a lot like it might be a love reading for the feminine energies this month, might be focused on love and the business of not having love, perhaps. The Hanged Man is gaining wisdom. He's upside down. He's on pause and he's upside down to try and kickstart his brain into action again. And so if you feel like you've been in a waiting period for a while, that is probably correct. Hopefully you've been gaining some sort of insights while you've been on pause or while you've been waiting. I feel like the pause has been necessary in any case. It feels to me a little bit like you're not as well as you could be, like your energy is not consistent and everything's feeling quite difficult. That's what these two cards say to me anyway. But weirdly, what's at the centre and what's crowning, at the centre we've got the card of happiness, and what's crowning the situation, we have a celebration. We'll come back to that one in a minute. So although it feels to me like you're quite despondent, you should be happy. That's so strange. Why should you be happy? Well, I don't know. We've got 3 cups here, and in the 5 of Cups, we have the 3 cups kicked over. So it feels like you're not happy, but at the centre of the reading is that card of happiness. So maybe the whole thing is this, that you're not happy, you want to be happy, you should be happy, but you can't be happy. You can't be happy because you are still feeling like you've lost your partner or lost a potential partner. This has the feeling of a partnership that either didn't come about the way it should have done, or had great potential and sort of got going and then stalled. In fact, that's what it feels like. It feels like you might have been in a partnership that had great potential, got started and then stalled, and you're been left in this energy of waiting and feeling unhappy. And the truth is that it could have been great and you should be happy, but you're not happy. And what's interesting here is there's a choice at the centre of this reading. You chose something that has made you unhappy. What have you chosen to make yourself unhappy? Well, maybe you put the connection on pause. Yeah, well, maybe. Maybe the connection wasn't delivering what you wanted. And although it had great potential to make you happy, it didn't actually make you happy. And so you've put it on pause. Maybe you're regretting that decision. I don't think that's well, I'm not saying you don't feel like that or that you can't feel like that. I just feel like that's not really a helpful energy, to regret having made a decision that you felt was right for you at the time. I don't think it's right to regret that. I think at the time you didn't have an option. You had to step back or remove yourself from a relationship or potential partnership, and now you're feeling like you haven't got the happiness that you could have, but you had to make a choice and you chose to sever the connection. It's what it feels like. Well, maybe not completely sever it, but step back. And perhaps in the business of you stepping back, it feels like you now no longer have a connection because the other person just disappeared, or sort of, well, what's the word? Evaporated into thin air is what I feel like saying. Maybe you've just not heard from them ever again. Perhaps you were hoping that stepping back might bring the best out in them and they might step up or step forward, and they haven't. And so you chose the state that you're in, which is one of not being happy. It's what it feels like. Wonder why they didn't step forward. Were you mistaken? Was there not really a hint of promise? I don't know. Let's have a clarifier. Why do we have the Three of Cups at the centre crossed by the Two of Swords? Well, yeah, it's a lack of clarity here. I think you chose what was best for you. I think you chose to step back or step away or remove yourself from some sort of partnership that you would have liked to have continued and become a real thing, but it wasn't going that way. So you stepped back, and maybe you were hoping that the other person would come forward, and they haven't. And now you're all a bit confused about actually what was the whole point of the whole thing, is what it feels like to me. I mean, the moon is a cycle. Maybe you've had this sort of situation go on in the past where something had potential but it didn't really come about and you had to step back, and maybe you're going through this whole thing all over again. It feels quite tiring to me. I just wonder as well if you're not able to gain much insight because you're now feeling despondent. I think actually what I'm going to do is get a clarifier for the Hanged Man and the Five of Cups. Yep, to do with a slow moving night. Yes, yes, yes. Of course you are feeling despondent because you stepped back and the person you were involved with has either not stepped forward or they're too slow. And it's feeling now like I think at first you thought, right, well, you know, I'll gain clarity, we'll see what happens. There are a few options here of ways of working things through, and they just haven't appeared. And so now, instead of feeling like you've been gaining clarity, now you're just feeling fed up. And that like this connection was a waste of time. Yeah. Sadly, I know exactly how you feel. How disappointing life can be sometimes. What's crowning the situation is the Four of Rods. I think you thought you were in a twin flame connection. This is my card for a twin flame. And you know what? Underneath, we have the Two of Cups. This is the card of a true love connection. It does feel, to me, like this was a real connection. Especially as now we've got the Three of Cups and the Two of Cups, both of which feature in the Five of Cups card from the start. We'll come back to that. But the twin flame connection is one of push and pull. It's, well, hard work, I suppose is a good way of putting it. It's hard work, and it can be very immediate and fast, followed by very, very slow and delayed. And I think you're fully at the delayed point. Can we have a clarifier for the Four of Rods, please? Oh, God. Absolutely. This felt like the real thing. This is now a soulmate card and a twin flame card. This felt real. Really, really strong soul connection, like you probably haven't felt before, which convinced you that if it wasn't a soulmate, it was a twin flame. Probably you've known this person for a long time. It stems right back to childhood for some of you, I think. Or maybe your children were at school together or something like that. There is some sort of link with childhood and children here. And a past energy. This is an energy of nostalgia, this soulmate card. Yeah, there could also be an age gap. This feels very difficult now. So what was crowning the situation, what's obvious to you and potentially to other people, was that you were in a very strong soul connection with somebody from your past. That's what it looks like on the surface. Now, what it feels like underneath is that it was the real thing. But we have the Two of Cups with the Four of Pentacles and the Seven of Rods. One person was resisting the connection due to pride. That's what that is. That is the minor arcana of pride. That is the card of resistance. That is the card of a true connection. So, and if you're watching this reading and you're resonating with this, I don't think it's you who was resisting the connection due to pride. I think it's highly likely that it was this slow moving knight that just has not stepped forward. I think this knight has resisted the connection due to pride. Especially if you are a feminine watching, this is down to masculine pride. You stepped back, said, I don't want to do it like this. This isn't the way I want to have a relationship with you. Might have been in fact, actually, yeah, this is in the underneath position. This connection was secret. Now, if I go back to the Five of Cups here, in the Five of Cups, we have the 3 and the 2 in the picture. Hopefully you can see this. So, and in this reading, we have the 3 and the 2. So the 3 of Cups is the card of happiness. And in the 5 of Cups, that's been kicked over. There is no happiness. And the 2 of Cups is the card of true love connection. And in the 5 of Cups card, the 2 of Cups is still standing. So this connection still feels as strong to you now as it did when it started. And also when it stopped. Because this is not. And so no wonder you're not happy. So you're feeling frustrated, despondent, fed up. Like, what was the point of what on earth was the point of the connection this strong if it goes nowhere? What is the point? And I think here, this is the answer to why we've got the Hanged Man at the start, because you're supposed to, I think you're feeling like you're supposed to have gained some sort of insight now, and you're still really sort of none the wiser. It also feels like you're waiting for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn man or masculine energy. And that's why you're unhappy. That's what you're waiting for. Well, I suppose the question is, should you wait? You know, the moon here says that this is a cycle that could keep going on indefinitely, I think, because the moon renews itself every month. We go through the waxing and the waning and the new moon and the full moon, and it goes again and again and again. And this is feeling very cyclical to me, like you could go through this process. Well, not indefinitely, but how long do you want to go through this process for? Regardless of the strength of connection, what is the point? Yeah, sad. In the past, we have balance. Temperance is balance. And Temperance is an angel. You were guided into this. You were guided to find a strong soul connection. I think you might have been single a long time. I think maybe, yeah. That's the High Priestess. I think maybe, you know, you might have had good connections in the past. You might have had marriages even. You might have had a loving partnership. But what you hadn't had is a real strength of connection on the soul level. And I think that's what you wanted in the past. And I think that is what you found, what you thought you'd found in the past was a strong soul connection. Yeah, because the Hanged Man is a card of enlightenment and the High Priestess is a card of innate knowing. So this is something that you've wanted. This is something you were guided towards. Temperance is an angel. This is guided. You were guided towards finding a strong soul connection in the past. And that is what you found. But it is not in partnership currently. Sadly, not in partnership. In the future, well, now we've got the Four of Cups. This is not being happy with what's on offer. To be honest, this doesn't feel very much in the future. This feels quite now. Well, of course, how can you be happy with what's on offer when you've experienced a very strong soul connection that you're no longer in connection with? How can you want anything else? Well, it's impossible, isn't it? Let's have a clarifier for the Four of Cups, please. Yep. You just want the real thing. You want, or you want a new love. Because maybe this has run its course here. Maybe you can't carry on with the feelings of trying to wait for somebody who's not coming forward. Maybe you actually want a new love connection. Yeah, probably. For a lot of you, I think that's the case. I mean, of course, you can carry on waiting for the original strong soul connection, but at the end of the day, you could wait for a very long time and not come into connection again. So if you are looking for love, if you have given up on this connection and you're looking for love currently and you're not finding anything, don't despair, because there is a good love out there for you. If you are still waiting for the strong soul connection to come back and you're not currently happy with what's on offer, perhaps it is coming back, because this is a genuine love offer. This is also divinely presented, so you could very well, and actually we've got that in both here. This is a divinely presented cup, and here is another divinely presented cup. So you are going to be offered love in the future. It's interesting. I wonder who it will be with. Well, actually, maybe it doesn't matter. As long as you've got love coming, whether it's with the soulmate twin flame that you've already found, whether it's with them or whether it's with somebody else, you want the card of true partnership. You want true partnership. Now, it doesn't look currently like that's on offer, but it is coming in. Great. Well, that's good. We're not quite sure who it is yet. Maybe we're not supposed to know. In the personal position, yeah, you're in a dynamic energy. The Queen of Wands is the go-getting. She's also the intuitive queen. So if you're combining your High Priestess and the Queen of Wands, I believe what this is saying is that you know now either to take action or to move on. I think that's what that's saying. And particularly if you're a fire sign, Aries, Sagittarius or Leo. We've got two here. In the personal position, to clarify the Queen of Rods, we have the King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Page of Swords. Page of Swords is a message, it's communication. King of Cups is classically a man who doesn't know how he feels, or a masculine. You are a woman who knows how you feel, most definitely. In the personal position, perhaps this means that you are going to be hearing from a man who previously didn't know how he felt, or from a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio masculine. Yeah, good, great. Page of Swords, yeah, that is incoming communication of an electronic kind, texting, emails, that sort of thing. Good. In the home position, well, this is a great card to find in the home. We have the Sun. The Sun is the best card in the deck. It's lovely to find the Sun anywhere, but at least everything is great at home for you. Even if in a personal way, things are feeling hard because you're waiting on somebody or you're deciding to stop waiting, one or the other. And so why do we have the Sun in the home position? Well, this is interesting. We have the Hermit and the Fool. So the three big major arcana cards here to clarify the home. So things are good in the home because you've retreated and you're putting the energy back into you, I feel. And now it feels like you're ready to take a leap of faith into something new. I think a lot of you are choosing to abandon this soul connection in favour of something else. And I actually think that, you know, it's a difficult thing to explain, but there is something about letting go of a situation which can bring about something else. And so I think really, in a way, a lot of you do need to let this go in order to bring in, you know, a love connection that you can actually get stuck into and have in your life properly. In the hopes and fears position, we have the King of Rods. Well, you're hoping for a dynamic partnership. This is very much a power couple. You're in the personal position. Masculine King of Rods is in the hopes and fears position. You're hoping for a connection, a reconnection, or a dynamic partnership. If you've decided to let the previous connection go, you're hoping for a connection that is going to take you places, grow, build. This is a dynamic pairing. And if you're letting go of a true soul connection, then at the very least in the future, you want a partnership that's going to not only provide you with love, but with a dynamic force for the future, really. Well, that's good, especially if either you or your person are a fire sign. That's great news. That's what you're hoping for. Now, the outcome, not going to pretend, it's not looking great for the first two cards for the outcome, but don't despair because I took another two. So we've got heartbreak caused by other people, basically, or some sort of problem in your original connection that has caused you heartbreak. Yes, well, that's what that is, sadly. And I think that relates to the previous connection. But what's coming with it is the Three of Rods and the Six of Rods. These are cards of moving on and victory. So if you are feeling heartbroken by a connection that had great promise as a soul connection or a twin flame connection, but has been ruined probably by other people, then don't despair, because you have the card of victory. Three of Wands is really moving on. It's or looking to see what else is out there, but waiting for it to be presented to you. Well, that's what we had in the future. We've got love being presented to you. And that is what you want. And I agree, that is what you want. Whether it's with the previous soul connection, twin flame, love connection that you had, or whether it's with somebody else, you still want a love connection. Of course you do. And you deserve one too. You deserve to be treated properly. You deserve to have a connection that can thrive and grow and give you what you want for a long-term future. These two cards together are very much saying that, especially if we look at them in conjunction with the Queen and King of Wands, because this is real dynamic force here. So it wasn't just that you liked this person, it was because there was great potential. Now, if that potential is never going to come about, then it is time to let that thought go and allow yourself to experience another connection with great potential, because that is the possibility here. So for some of you, the period of waiting that you've been in is going to have clarified to you that actually you can wait no longer, and you're going to be searching for something that is going to be better for you. For some of you, you're still just waiting because you're still feeling heartbroken, sadly. And for some of you, the period of waiting has just clarified to you that you don't want anybody else. It doesn't matter what you call it, whether it's a soulmate or a twin flame. It's the only connection for you, and you're not interested in anybody else. So you're waiting for the true love connection and a properly dynamic partnership. Well, if that's the case, the good news is that the king who could not make up his mind is going to get back in touch. So for all of you, it's good news. Victory is the final card. If you want the soul connection back, you're probably going to hear from him. If you don't want it back, then you're going to be able to move on to something better. And if you're not sure, now is the time actually to decide to put yourself first and go out there and find what is actually going to make you happy. You can do it this month. This really is a month of working out what it is you want. Yes, you might hear from the person. Great if you do. But you've then got to work out what you're going to do with that conversation and where it can lead to. And I think, sadly, for some of you, because of the feeling of heartbreak that is still sort of surrounding you, and because the connection couldn't get going due to other people, and I think that is what has slowed down this person from coming forward. And I think that is why you step back, and I think that is why you are sad, and I think it all stems to other people. So, you know, if he does come forward with communication. There's still probably going to be other people to consider, so it's not necessarily straightforward, you know. So you need to have a really good think, I think, this month. I think this is a sort of make or break month for you and that previous connection. It's either going to come back and flourish, or you're going to let it go. Or, and I believe for some of you, this is the thing as well, you might get communication coming in and you might have a very honest conversation, and you might decide that actually, because of the other people, you can't come together in connection at this time. Now, that's not to say that you can't ever in the future, but you might just both decide that now is not the right time for you and to let it go, you know, with a sort of bittersweet tinge of sadness that maybe one day in the future things will come right when the other people are not a problem. So victory is yours, whichever way you want to take it. And you do have a genuine offer of love coming in the future, which I think will make you very happy. I think potentially you can have a very dynamic partnership. You can have that, especially if that's what you want. And I think it is what most of you want. I think a lot of you here don't want ordinary. And I think it feels like because you haven't got this super strong connection, super strong soul connection that you've experienced in the past, and it's not even the very distant past, it's the recent past. Because you haven't got that anymore, then it feels like nothing else is worth having. The truth is, you can have everything in the future, and you know, happiness will be restored, and you'll be coming into true partnership, either with your person or with a new person. I do believe that. Keep the faith this month. If you're a feminine and this reading has resonated, keep the faith, because you have got true love coming in the future. Potentially got a communication from somebody from your past, and there's a conversation that needs to be had about if or when or how this is going to progress in the future. So keep the faith this month, and there'll be a change very soon. I hope so. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like and subscribe so that I can read your energy more easily, which will help me to do more accurate readings for you and your situation in the future. If you would like a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. But until the next time, this has been the Timeless Tarot. Goodbye.